Being miserable in life. Um, the fact is, if you're miserable now and you're going to move to the Philippines, it is not going to make any change. Very likely, it's going to have the opposite effect. There's a reason behind this. The fact is, the Philippines has the biggest number of small irritants that I've ever come across in my life. Um, from people that will say no when they mean yes, and vice versa. It's normally they'll say yes for something direct, like do you know how to do Excel on a computer when they're applying for a job? Yeah, the fact is they've never used Excel in their life. That is something they'll say yes to. But if you said, oh, do you have this cell phone battery? They might say no because they can't be bothered to go into the warehouse and the boss is out that day. You, over time you get to see that there's a pattern and you realize it happens more than it should, a lot more. Um, but if you're already miserable, you're going to find these things actually get bigger and bigger the more you're there. Motorbikes revving up is something I hate because it's not the fact that they do it, it's just that they do it again and again. It's not like it's once or twice from the same motorbike a year. It's more like twice a day. I don't understand why they do it, which is another reason it's even more irritating. But I learned to switch off from it. But it's just the fact that you know it's there, the rooster, the crows constantly in the morning, then it sets off the other ones, and then it just goes round. You end up with hearing about 20 crows, 20 roosters, because you can hear the ones in the distance as it goes out and goes round as all the other roosters join in. Those sort of things are what I call small irritants. They happen all the time, and you're going to find if you're a miserable guy, you're going to get even more miserable, especially when you're out of your own country because you have to deal with customs and immigration and getting your visas renewed regularly, these sort of things. A lot of things in the Philippines are time orientated. Me, I have to admit, I hate people wasting my time. So I find these things extremely annoying where you already know there's a faster process, an easier way to do it, but nobody's actually got any interest in actually learning or changing the way they do it. If anything, things seem to not progressively get worse, but just change and stay bad, but just a different system. So, yes, if you're miserable now, you're going to be miserable in the Philippines. What I can advise, though, is find out why you're miserable and look at how that can be changed. Because, for example, if it's your neighbor that's always like arguing with you and stuff like that, then you might find the Philippines is actually a positive move because that neighbor isn't there. Um, but if you find that you get irritated by noise, dust, and things like that, the Philippines is probably going to make things 10 times worse. Um, the fact is, the Philippines can become a very isolated place as well because the people you mix with from the expat community can be quite small, but also uh, unless you're actually going to spend some time learning the local dialects, you might find that you become quite isolated in the community you live as well. Because sometimes it's quite often people will talk to each other in the local languages, so you can't actually understand what they're saying because they're often talking about you. It is worth learning, but at the same time, if you're getting on a bit, you might not be interested in learning, but you may find that pretty annoying. Or I've even heard it. What was the phrase? I can't remember the phrase right now, but somebody was actually complaining that they found it offensive in some way. For me, I don't find it offensive because the fact is I'm in the Philippines, so if I don't speak their language, that's my problem, not theirs. But anyway, um, if you're unhappy now, remember the focus is what do you need to change. Don't expect that just moving country is going to make your life better because the Philippines may actually make things a lot worse because you don't have some of the safety nets and things that make you happy where you are now. Okay, thanks.